We often imagine a good life in terms of abundance: more money, more freedom, more experiences, more of whatever makes us feel alive. Yet as the years pass, another kind of wealth begins to reveal itself. It is the quiet wealth of waking up and feeling well. No matter how much we possess, it becomes difficult to enjoy any of it when the body is constantly exhausted or in pain. A beautiful house means less when we cannot sleep peacefully in it. A table filled with wonderful food means little when the body can no longer receive it with ease. Even success loses some of its brightness when every day is lived through discomfort. Perhaps health, then, is not simply the absence of illness. It is the freedom to inhabit our own lives. It is being able to walk somewhere because we feel like walking, to wake with a clear mind, to enjoy the warmth of sunlight on our face, to listen to music and still be moved by it, to laugh without effort, to eat with pleasure, to feel curiosity about what tomorrow might bring. These ordinary sensations are easy to overlook, yet they are among the most valuable things we ever possess. The body asks surprisingly little of us, but it asks consistently: enough sleep, nourishing food, movement, rest, rhythm. There is wisdom in eating enough without always eating more. There is wisdom in choosing vegetables, grains, beans, fruit, nuts, and other simple foods more often without turning every meal into a moral test. There is wisdom in keeping roughly regular hours while allowing life to occasionally interrupt them. Health does not require perfection. A piece of cake is not a tragedy. A late dinner with someone we love is not a failure. Staying awake too late on a beautiful night does not destroy a life. The problem is rarely the exception. The problem is when the exception quietly becomes the pattern. This is why one of the most useful qualities in life is moderation. Moderation is often misunderstood as deprivation, as though a disciplined person were someone who spends life refusing pleasure. But genuine moderation is almost the opposite. It is a way of preserving our ability to enjoy things. When we have eaten enough, we stop. When the body is tired, we let it sleep. When pleasure begins turning into excess, we recognize the moment and step away. That requires patience because human beings naturally want a little more. One more bite, one more drink, one more episode, one more hour online, one more message to someone who has not replied, one more reassurance that we are wanted. Modern life has become extraordinarily skilled at satisfying these impulses. We carry an endless source of stimulation in our hands. The instant boredom appears, we can make it disappear. A few seconds of silence can be filled with videos, messages, news, shopping, arguments, photographs, and the lives of strangers. But perhaps boredom is not always something that needs to be cured. There is value in sitting beside a window and doing nothing, in walking without constantly checking a screen, in listening to an entire song without reaching for something else, in allowing a thought enough time to become a thought. The ability to tolerate a little emptiness may be one of the forms of freedom we are slowly forgetting. We often define freedom as the ability to do whatever we want, but there is another deeper freedom, the ability not to do what we want, to want something and still say, "Not now," to feel anger and choose not to wound, to feel desire and choose not to consume, to feel restless and remain still, to have the ability to continue and decide that enough is enough. If every desire must immediately become an action, are we truly free? Or have we simply become obedient to our impulses? Self-control is not the enemy of freedom. In many ways, it is what makes freedom possible, and nowhere is this more visible than in love. We often call an intense feeling love. We miss someone terribly. We want their attention. We want to know where they are, what they are thinking, whether they still want us. We feel jealousy, longing, excitement, fear. These emotions can be powerful and sincere, but intensity alone is not proof of love. Sometimes what we call love is our own loneliness reflected in another person. Sometimes it is the pleasure of being desired. Sometimes it is the fear of being abandoned. Sometimes we become intoxicated not with another human being, but with the emotions they awaken inside us. Love begins to deepen when the question changes. Not only, what do I feel because of you? But also, how am I treating you? To love someone is to recognize that their inner world is as real as our own. It is to understand that wanting someone does not give us ownership of them. Missing someone does not entitle us to their time. Jealousy does not give us permission to control them. Anger does not justify cruelty. Sometimes love means moving closer. Sometimes love means waiting. Sometimes it means speaking. Sometimes it means having enough restraint to remain silent until we can speak without causing unnecessary harm. This does not mean disappearing into another person's needs. Endless sacrifice is not necessarily love either. A healthy relationship requires two complete human beings, not one person slowly erasing themselves for the other. Perhaps mature love sounds something like this. I cherish you, but I do not own you. I want you near me, but I respect your freedom. My feelings matter, and so do yours. There is something remarkable about how closely love resembles the care of the body. To care for the body does not mean giving it everything it desires. If we love our body, we sometimes refuse it excess because we want it to remain well. Love between people also requires restraint, not because love should be cold, but because something precious should not be handled carelessly. And perhaps this principle extends to life itself. We spend so much of our existence learning how to acquire things that we rarely learn how to recognize enough. Enough food, enough work, enough attention, enough possessions, enough argument, enough ambition for one day. There is enormous peace in knowing when to stop. A life without restraint eventually loses its contrasts. If every meal is a feast, feasts stop feeling special. If every quiet moment must contain stimulation, silence becomes unbearable. If every desire must be satisfied immediately, anticipation disappears. Restraint creates space, and space is not emptiness. In music, silence allows the notes to breathe. In painting, untouched space gives shape to everything around it. In conversation, a pause can carry more tenderness than another sentence. Life needs such spaces too. There must be hours when we eat and hours when we do not. Times when we work and times when we rest. Moments when we reach for someone and moments when we allow them to breathe. A beautiful life is not one in which every space has been filled. It is one in which we have learned what deserves to fill it. Perhaps that is why happiness is often quieter than we expect. It may be waking without pain, opening a window, walking beneath trees, drinking something warm, hearing a favorite piece of music, having enough energy to become interested in something new, knowing that someone we love is safe, going to bed without carrying too much anger into tomorrow. None of these things looks particularly impressive from the outside, yet this is where life is actually lived. Health, then, is not merely an attempt to postpone death. It is a way of protecting our capacity to experience tomorrow. Discipline is not a rejection of pleasure. It is the wisdom to protect pleasure from becoming excess. And love is not simply becoming intoxicated by our own feelings. It is learning to hold another person's heart with the same care we hope they will show ours. Perhaps these are not separate lessons after all. To care for the body, to govern our desires, and to love another person all require the same quiet understanding. What is precious should not be used carelessly. We have only one body to carry through this life. We have one mind whose peace we must learn to protect. And, if we are fortunate, there will be people who trust us enough to place some part of their hearts in our hands. We do not need to live timidly because of this. We should eat delicious things, stay awake for beautiful conversations, travel, dance, fall in love, create, laugh loudly, take chances, be foolish sometimes. But somewhere within all that freedom, we should also know how to stop, to rest before exhaustion, to leave a little on the plate, to put the phone down, to let anger pass before speaking, to loosen our grip on someone we love, to look at an ordinary day and recognize that, for now, it is enough. Restraint does not make life smaller. When practiced with wisdom, it allows life to remain beautiful for longer. And perhaps the art of living well is ultimately very simple: to enjoy deeply without consuming everything, to love deeply without possessing, and to protect with quiet gratitude the things we hope to keep for a long time.